Good day. My name is Olubode Caleb Adetunji. I live in Coquitlam in Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm a senior software development engineer. I have been coding or developing software in the last 8 to 10 years. I've worked for various companies, including Canalys and Tigos Technologies. I've also worked for Exigence, based in the UK, Control Technologies, based in South Africa, Invictus Capital, based in South Africa, as well as Maram Networks, based in South Africa. I'll start from the latest companies I've worked for, which is Tigos. It's a US Canadian-based financial technology companies. So they allow fund managers and analysts working for multinational companies, managing funds, to be able to access financial models and financial records through APIs instead of spreadsheets. They are able to have access to a web interface whereby they can then click some links and have information about financial model of companies. So maybe financial model, for example, the revenue, the expenditure, the profits, net profit, gross profit, all sort of data that you have on a spreadsheet, including the historical data, the forecast data, and also the drivers of profits and things like that. All of that you typically access on a spreadsheet, we produce an API interface of that. We also went to the extent of providing dashboard and libraries. So this will allow analysts and equity analysts to be able to quickly access fundamental data of financial models of different companies. So this is what we develop. So instead of the spreadsheet that takes longer time to be able to understand across more than 4,000 companies that we have in our database, this API will quickly allow you to have access to all this data, to be able to filter them, to be able to query them, aggregate them, and do all sort of sorting you want to do on them. So I've been with this company for more than 2 years. The tech stack that we use is in Django, as well as in Django REST framework. So let me just give an overview of the development process, which will begin with the software developers who meet with the products, as well as the designers and the engineering managers, and then the idea that the clients want in terms of new features they want will be communicated to us, and there will be a kind of brainstorming together, and then there will be, after the product managers have informed us of the functionality that we want to produce, then we, the engineers, will start with the designing, and then we do the documentation, and then we will interface back with the product managers just for clarity that this is our design of the model, design of the API, and is there a kind of alignment with what they felt the new client wants as a functionality or feature in the API. So after there's a kind of agreement, and then there will be the development or the implementation of the design. I code in Python, using in Django, as well as in Django REST framework and Postgres database, and I use a kind of Docker as a development environment. So all of that will progress with implementation, and thereafter there will be testing. So I do unit testing, integration testing, end-to-end testing, and after the testing, there will be a building. So that's the building of the source code itself. So within the source code in the repository, we've got some GitLab YAML file that has some jobs. So it has the testing jobs, it has the population job, it has the deployment job. So as soon as we push this source code into GitLab using Git, then the source code will be built. All sort of tests will be run, and then we've got a threshold which has to be 100%. So all sort of tests need to pass, and then the source code will be pushed into the master branch after it has been reviewed by fellow developers, and then it will be deployed on our deployment platform, either Heroku or EC2, any of these two. So after that, then there's a kind of there's a kind of integration that we have also developed, which is Slack, as well as New Relic and Amplitude, such that we can monitor the performance of the functionality we have just deployed. So we use Slack in terms of error, in terms of alerts, and also New Relic to look at the request, the tolerance, the throughput, and also amplitude to know the clients that are using a certain endpoint. So these are the way we track deployments that we push onto these source codes. So within that work, I use bash scripting, I use GitLab CI/CD, like I said, Amazon Relational Database Service, which is the RDS. So these are the libraries I used. So before joining this company, I've also worked for an insurance company where I developed a kind of mobile app that will allow users to be able to request for an insurance quote. Maybe you want to have an insurance cover on your car, on your house, on the content of your house, on your accessories, all sorts of assets or properties you have. You can download the app, then you create an account, and then you can use the app to request for an insurance quote. So, and after you have requested for an insurance quote, you can answer some underwriting questions, and then you'll be able to accept a quote. And after you've accepted the quote, you can convert the quote to a policy. And after a policy, then that means you are covered. And should there be any kind of damage to your property, you can also use the app to request for an insurance claim. So all of that development was done using Sonic. Sonic is a kind of asynchronous Python framework, similar to it's a kind of asynchronous cooperative work schedule. So async IO, it uses the async IO library. So that was what we used to develop that. We integrated that with some other third-party insurance cover. The company itself was not an insurance company. It's just selling the insurance on behalf of the insurance company themselves using their APIs. So I was a software engineer integrating the company source code, that is control, with the third-party provider, which are the insurance companies. And then we are able to interface and we are able to deploy the app. So we also use some Lambda functions to be able to send email automatically and not sort of policy schedule to the client as soon as they accept an insurance cover. So this was what I was doing with control. After the control, I also worked for a legal firm where I automated all sort of contract management, legal documentation, conversion of PDFs, and also automated a kind of a summary of a document. They're using the Hugging Face and the BAT, that's the bidirectional embedded relational transformers. So I use that to be able to read through a PDF document and to be able to provide a summary of that PDF document. So that's what I did at the legal firm. And before that, I also worked for a Mara company. They're into telecommunication billings. I just did some OLAN coding there. OLAN is a kind of pattern matching programming. But in the recent time, I've been coding in Python and I'm using Django libraries. I'm familiar with both non-relational database like Firebase, MongoDB, and relational database like PostgreSQL and MySQL. So I have both hard skills and soft skills. In terms of soft skills, I communicate effectively. I've got 7.0 in my IELTS English language test. So I'm a fluent, clear English speaker. My time zone is PST. I'm located in Canada, so I can easily work with anybody across the world, including US. My fees is reasonable. You can see on my platform there, not charging exorbitantly, but then with that goes with delivering a valuable result. My work is well documented. My source code is clean, secure, testable, robust, and bug-free. So I also have empathy when I'm communicating. With a kind of very friendly and positive communication attitude. Because of my background of being a researcher, I've got a doctorate degree in computational data engineering. I've got capacity to do research and to be able to troubleshoot, to be able to solve problems independently, and to be able to document the solution for other people to collaborate with me and to be able to continue the work from where I stop. So thank you for listening to me. And I wish to meet with you and have your job and deliver a wonderful, excellent result for you. Thank you.